Hi there, this is Jacqueline with Nickel and Dime Decor. Thank you for joining me today. As promised, we are going to make the Tumbler Chevron Quilt. And I had to order the pattern and I ordered the template. This is for 5-inch charm pack. But I didn't make mine with the charm pack, so I will tell you how I cut it out. The pattern really isn't a pattern. I mean, you cut out your tumblers, and I see on this one it has white in between all of the colored ones. Mine aren't like that. My previous thought was pink, black, and taupe. Well, I couldn't really find anything like that much, but I came up with kind of an apricot or a coral black and taupe, and I'm gonna like it. It's going to be a baby quilt. This pattern is for, and I got it at Missouri Star Quilt Company. It is a 49 by 71. I do not want mine quite that big. That would be for a crib size, for the actual crib. But I like my baby quilts about 42, 45 square. I just think that's a good size. And they put 12 tumblers in a row, and I'm going to put 10. I think that will cut it down just enough because these have a 4.5-inch border. So 10 is more than enough for what I want. And then I'm going to make it 10 rows down, I think. After I get them made, I'll check it out and see. That can be adjusted. There is no, like I say, no pattern except to cut them out, alternate them, turn them, sew them, and sew your rows together. But putting them together, there's a little bit of a trick to it. If you've ever made one and it didn't turn out quite right, I think that's probably what's going on. Now, excuse me. I'm going to put the camera down and show you what I've done so far and my color palette and all that. I went to a quilt shop and she didn't have any charm packs, but, I mean she did, but not what I wanted. And she was gracious enough to cut me some fat quarters. And I wanted at least 8, but I had one that went with it, so I have 9 different fabrics. I have 3 florals, a big print, medium print, and small print. I have this black and the writing on it. And just give you a little heads up, I cut some of them this way with the writing up, and then I cut some of them with it turned this way. And the reason being is when you alternate these, your wide part is going to go to the top sometimes, and the bottom piece is going to go to the top sometimes. So I cut out 4 or 5 going one way and 4 or 5 going the other way. Out of a fat quarter, I got 12 of the tumblers with just a smidgen left. Little piece like so. Not much waste at all. I have another black that has pretty circles. And here's my taupes. I call this a paisley, but it's really not. And this just has small flowers. This is a tone-on-tone taupe. And this is one that I had that goes real well, just a chevron. So, I have, like I say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different. So if I'm going to have 10 tumblers across, I need to duplicate one of them each time. And I just randomly pick and choose which one you want 2 of in that row and vary them. Try to do different in each row. And that way you'll have I'll have my 10 tumblers and everything will work great. Now I'm going to adjust the camera again to show you my 2 rows that I've made. But before that, I want to show you, when you are putting these together, let's just take one of them. It shows that you start with the small part of the tumbler at the top. Then take one and reverse it like you're going to add these 2 together. When it shows that you put it on the left-hand side. And when you put this together, you will see that it doesn't fit. See that? It's not going to fit. So you have to position it as best you can with as little tiny bit left down there as you can. You just have a little bitty dog ear down there. And up here, you have a little bit left too. I, at first, extended mine thinking I needed a whole 1/4 of an inch, and that is what it says. But I find they lay much better if mine is not quite a 1/4 of an inch. Just like so. And this is how I recommend you sew. You see that little bitty tiny bit right there? And that tiny little bit right there. And to me, I have to sew this way on my machine, so I turn it. And sew starting up there. Now, I'm going to sew that real fast and just show you what it looks like so you'll know. Remember about our scant 1/4 inch. On my machine, I have to put my needle to the right 1 position to achieve a good scant 1/4 inch. You make whatever adjustments that you need to, if it's where you position your fabric or whatever you need to do. Because a big old fat 1/4 of an inch, nothing's going to fit real good. I have been pressing these open. Now, when you put it down, we'll just press it to one side. So sorry. Got something tickling my throat this morning. And let me move this so you can see a little bit better. When you put this down, and after it's pressed, it's perfectly straight and perfectly straight, except for your little bit of a dog ear there. This is the best way that I know how, is the positioning and where you sew. That's the only secret you need to know. Okay, I have 2 rows done, and if you can tell, your small end of the tumbler, here's the larger end, mirrors the one underneath it. See the small, and there's the large. If it's turned the opposite way, large and large. So they have to go, you know, have to fit right there. So the way I found the best way to do it is just fold this in half, put your pin in the middle, fold this in half, put your pin in the middle. When you turn it over, pin it right there. Then you know you're ready for the whole thing. Everything is lined up like it should be. Now, I mean, if it's just a scant, don't worry. Visually, it looks like it's lined up very well. If you want to measure, I'd say right here, do this one, and measure it and pin. And then pin the whole thing. And then sew. I duplicated, like I said, these 2 on that row. And what's the other one? Oh, I did the 2 flowers, the mediums. And when we get, you can't see the edges, but let me show you. When we get to the edges, you trim them so that it's right. It's like you're slicing up, oh, just a little piece, but you just even that up. Put your ruler down there, and I'll show you that later, how we'll do that. And that's all there is to it. You just make your rows and go for it. It's really simple once you get the hang of getting these positioned just right. You just barely, let's see if I can show you on this one. This one's already pressed forward. But see how there's just a little bitty tag right there, and a very small one right there. And if you do that on each and every one of them, they will fit beautifully. When I did one row, I was putting too much on the top end and not much on the bottom end, and I've soon learned to space them very evenly, barely showing on this end and barely showing on this end. And you can put it up against that measuring line, and it is exactly, they are exact 5-inch tumblers all the way across. And that's the only way to achieve that, is to have to have that very, very scant. Now, once in a while, see on this one, it's not real even. It's a little bit longer and a little bit shorter up here. Don't sweat that if that happens. I mean, it's not anything to worry about, because your 1/4 inch seam is going to go straight across, and it's not, you're going to compensate with that 1/4 inch seam, so it's okay. So that's just the first part of this video. I know a lot of people probably would like to buy the charm packs because everything coordinates, you know, together. But you can do it yourself just by buying the fat quarters and cutting them yourself. And I would recommend that you get one of those little table things, round table things, to cut them on, because it turns and you don't ever have to move it. And those are for years I didn't have one, but I invested in one, and it's wonderful. And just remember, try to get patterns that go every which way, and you don't have to worry about them facing the wrong way or fussy cutting them or anything. Try to get fabrics that just go every which way, so you don't have to worry about that part. And I haven't told you, I keep forgetting, a lot of you don't know, but if you're subscribed to my channel, if you'll hit that little bell down below the video, that means that you're turning on notifications, and every time I have a new video, it will bring that word to you that there is a new video available. And I forget to tell people that that's there and it's available for you. So, just a little reminder. Well, you have just a wonderful, blessed day, and please stay tuned for part 2. And we will, hopefully, I'll have all of the rows done and put together. I won't promise, but I'm going to try to do that before next week. We'll have the next video. Thank you for watching the Tumbler Chevron tutorial. Bye. I forgot to tell you, I'm always forgetting to tell you something. See the edges after they were trimmed? You just even them up before you sew it, but I still had to trim just a little bit more after. But that's what they look like, kind of, not quite half, but I don't know what you would call it. But anyway, that's what it looks like.